The night was colder than usual. The wind moved through the empty streets like a slow whisper, carrying with it the sounds of distant traffic and quiet loneliness. Most people were already inside their homes, wrapped in blankets, scrolling on their phones or sitting with their families. But on the corner of a closed grocery store, a young girl sat on the pavement, her back against the cold metal shutter. Her name was Zara. She was barely 9 years old. Her small hands were wrapped around a cracked glass bottle filled with warm water, the only thing keeping her fingers from going numb. Her sandals were worn out, her dress thin, and her eyes tired, not because she wanted to be, but because life had forced her to be. Her mother worked as a cleaner in nearby houses. Some days, she returned with a little money. Other days, she returned with tired eyes and empty hands. That night, she didn't return at all. Zara had been waiting for hours. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, she just waited, because she had learned that crying didn't bring miracles. People passed by, some looked at her, most didn't, a few slowed down, then walked away. The world kept moving, until one man stopped. He looked like an ordinary person. Simple clothes, tired face, carrying a small bag of groceries. He was on his way home after a long shift from a mechanic shop. He noticed her because she wasn't moving. Not like a beggar, not like someone asking for attention. Just sitting there, still, silent. He walked closer. "Beta, are you okay?" he asked gently. Zara looked up at him. Her lips trembled. "Yes, I'm okay," she whispered, even though she wasn't. "Why are you sitting here alone?" She tried to answer, but her voice broke halfway. "My mama, she hasn't come back yet." The man looked around. The street was almost empty now. Shops closing, lights turning off. "How long have you been here?" "Since afternoon." His heart tightened. "Have you eaten anything?" Zara looked down. He didn't wait for an answer. He walked back to a small food cart nearby that was still open and bought some hot bread and tea. When he returned and handed it to her, she stared at it like it wasn't real. "For me?" she asked softly. "For you." Her fingers shook as she held the warm cup. The steam touched her cheeks. She took a slow sip, then another. It wasn't just tea. It was warmth. It was care. It was someone noticing. Tears quietly slid down her face. Not loud, not dramatic, just silent, because someone had finally asked if she was okay, and meant it. The man sat beside her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Zara." "Where do you live?" She pointed to a narrow street behind the shops. "There, with my mama." He stayed with her. Minutes turned into an hour. Then, a woman came running from that same street. Her clothes dusty, her face panicked, eyes full of tears. "Zara." Zara jumped up. "Mama." Her mother hugged her tightly, crying. "I got stuck at work. They didn't let me leave, my phone died." Zara held her back, like a child clinging to safety. The man stood up quietly. Her mother looked at him, confused. "Who are you?" "I just made sure she wasn't alone," he replied with a small smile. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. "I don't have much, I can't repay you." He shook his head. "You don't have to. Just don't leave her alone again." That night, he walked away. He didn't ask for praise. He didn't take a photo. He didn't record a video. He just went home. Days passed. Weeks. Months. Life continued. Zara never forgot him. Years later, in a small classroom, a young teacher stood in front of her students, writing words on the board. Her name, Miss Zara Khan. She had grown up, studied with scholarships, won competitions, and now taught underprivileged children in a free community school. One day, a man entered the school to fix a broken fan. He had a familiar face. Tired eyes. Grease-covered hands. Simple clothes. Zara's heart skipped a beat. She walked closer. "Excuse me, do you remember a little girl near the grocery store, many years ago?" He looked at her, confused, then smiled faintly. "A lot of little girls sit on streets, Beta." She swallowed hard. "That girl was me." He froze. His eyes widened. "You?" "Yes," she nodded. "And you bought me tea that night when I felt invisible." The man looked away, emotional. "I didn't do much." "You did," she interrupted softly. "You didn't just give me food. You gave me a moment where I didn't feel alone. You reminded me that kindness still exists." He smiled, his eyes shining. "And now, what do you do?" She looked around the classroom at the children. "I sit with kids who think the world has forgotten them." He nodded slowly. Then he turned back to his work. And Zara returned to her students. But something invisible had completed its circle. A small act of kindness. had become a lifetime of purpose. And somewhere in the quiet corners of the world, another child was waiting for someone to notice.